We welcome you back to downtown Milwaukee. Dan Hicks, Tim Daggett, Elfie Schlegel, and Andrea Joyce with you on the second and final day of the U.S. Gymnastics Championships. This the all-around finals to decide this country's national champion. And for the first time in the modern history of this sport, that champion could be a gymnast not born in this country. You're looking at Anya Hatch, who was born in Cuba, where she was a 7-time national champion. She retired at the age of 17, then married an American who became her coach, moved here to the United States, became a U.S. citizen, and now years later is in position at age 25 to also become the oldest gymnast in the modern era to win this title. This, Elfie and Tim, is really quite a story.
You know, I think, Dan, that for Anya, her goal here is not just to prove that she is an event specialist, as many people see her, but she wants to prove that she is, in fact, an all-around athlete.
And she gets to do that on her first event with uneven bars, the event that she has struggled on in the past.
She is the leader heading into this second and final day of competition. As you look at Tasha Schweikert, among those that want to win the title, she is the 2-time defending national champion, trying to become the first since Kim Zmeskal to win 3 straight titles in the U.S. Gymnastics Championships. Zmeskal pulling it off in the early 90s, but if she's going to do it, she's going to have to come back from the 6th position. Schweikert visualizing her first event here as she begins on the vault.
And she's going to be challenged here, Dan. Vaulting will take its toll on that ankle. You know, she said one of the most difficult things for her, sitting out for almost the year of competition, was watching everybody get better and better. And that was frustrating to Tasha because she has never had to deal with a big-time injury before.
But she
surgery on her ankle in December, and she has not been near the gymnast, hasn't been able to practice, and really just began practicing full go just a few weeks ago in preparation for this.
Other athletes would probably take a step back and not put as much pressure on themselves. But this young lady, she wants to win. She told me it would be so, quote, freaking awesome to win 3 in a row. Line landing.
Wow, that was better.
That is about as well as Tasha Schweikert can do this vault. First day.
You know, she said she's going to have to control her adrenaline. That was the only thing she was really worried about. Having not competed, she said, I just got to keep everything in check.
She always has the power on a vault like this, but the thing was so critical in the first night of competition. Tasha ran down, did basically the same vault, a lot of bounce off the horse, a lot of power, but she just bounded on the landing. This one, bam, hit that ground. Just a small hop.
Well, Tim, unlike Tasha, we want you to pace yourself. You've been battling laryngitis, so pick your spots. Schweikert picked out a good time to continue this comeback right from the outset. As we take you over to the floor exercise, and Courtney Kupets, one of 2 world champions competing in these championships. She won the world title on the bars last year and comes into the second day of competition in 4th place, just 16 years old.
You can see that bandaged right knee about 3 weeks ago. She tweaked her knee as well. Has not been able to tumble to the full extent that she would have liked to have. So she hasn't quite had the numbers, so this will be a big test.
Coupettes through the first of her 4 events to decide the championship.
You know,
Coached by Kelly Hill.
The challenge, Dan, is 2 competitions in a row. That's what Marta Crowley's looking for, consistency.
And it is a very different format for these young ladies tonight. They are accustomed to, after the entire warm-up before the event starts, they're accustomed to having what's called a one-touch warm-up. She walked out here cold and did this tumbling run right here. The only problem, a little bit close, and if that foot touches the white, that's a deduction.
And we mentioned that Kelly Hill is the coach. You've seen her in past big gymnastics competitions. Former coach of Dominique Gauze, who won this championship earlier. And Coupettes. And there is Tasha Schweikert, her score in the vault, a 9.425, so a good score to begin the comeback.
Much better start.
Schweikert from Las Vegas, trying to win this championship for the 3rd straight year. It's not easy, especially in the physical condition that she's been in.
And Dan, the other day, well, leading up to this competition in practice, she went right back to the gym. I mean, she was not happy with how she performed, and she got some numbers in. She needed to get that confidence back.
And Cassie, her coach, told me she was not happy with the way Tasha displayed her emotions immediately after the routine. She says, hey, the routine's not over yet. The judges, they're still watching you. She said she needs to be a bit of a better actor tonight.
Well, here is the leader, Anya Hatch. And with more on this Cuban-born gymnast, we go down to Andrea Joyce. Andrea?
Dan, perhaps the most relaxed gymnast during the workout session today was Anya Hatch, but not because she's in the lead. Her husband, Alan, told me it's because she's loose, because she's already living out her dream to be able to have the chance to compete for the United States. Without question, though, Anya's story continues to unfold.
Life is like, it's a book. You have one chapter and then you skip to the other one. It's scary, everything like that. It's scary, but again, it's part of life.
Anya Hatch's book began in Cuba. By age 10, she was the national champion. 9 years and 7 national titles later, she would retire from the sport, only to meet an American who would forever change her life.
We met actually in Puerto Rico. After that, we kept communication back and forth from Cuba. We had the same dream in gymnastics. We had a lot of things connected and it works. So we decided to get married.
Marriage brought Anya to America to work with her husband at their gym. But inside, her competitive fire was still alive.
It was funny that Anya decided to compete again. I think she still yearned to compete. Seeing the children that she was teaching and coaching performing, she, I think, wanted to perform again.
I really think that it would be a waste if I would never start again. So I'm really proud for make that decision. It just changed my life completely.
It's been a crazy 25 years. That's right, 25 years. In a sport dominated by teens, Anya's proving that age is just a number.
The age doesn't matter. It's really good to be 25 and to be in shape and to have a husband and to have a gym and people that love you, and that's the most important thing.
It is amazing what Hatch has done at this age. In fact, if you take a look at the last 30 champions to win this event, the average age is 16 and a half years old. So you've got the whole story coming over from Cuba, and then you've got her doing this level of gymnastics at age 25.
It truly is remarkable. Everything gets harder when you're a little bit older.
And you know, it was just a year ago that she and her husband had decided, let's just give this a try. Let's see where it takes us. Let's see if your body can handle what's required of gymnastics at this level. And they decided we can do this.
Uneven bars is Anya's biggest challenge of the competition. She has struggled but had a great exercise in day one. First release.
They say she is one of the hardest workers at the national training camps.
2 releases in a row done right here. Second one. Oh!
I have to say, watching her in warm-ups, she missed the same move there. As you see her husband, Alan, come in and give her some encouragement.
Well, she's got to keep it together because there's more than just the national championships happening here. The top 3 athletes from this in rank order earn an automatic berth onto the World Championship team.
Well, you can hear Alan say, "Don't worry about it," but right in the first event, you're the leader. That is it's a disappointing start for Hatch.
Yeah, I can remember hearing words like that from my coach. No matter how many times they say it, no matter how many pats on the back, you remember this, she will have nightmares about why didn't my hands just stay around the bar right there.
And right away, Hatch knows it didn't come off near as good as it could have.
She didn't get quite as square on the first release skill, so maybe was a little bit nervous about that.
Or just a reminder from the warm-up.
Husband, coach, and wife competing for the national championship. A disappointing start. When we come back, we'll have the score for Anya Hatch. Back at the 2003 U.S. Gymnastics Championships in the U.S. Cellular Arena here in Milwaukee. Dan Hicks, Tim Daggett, Elfie Schlegel, and Andrea Joyce with you, and awaiting the score for Anya Hatch. A disappointing start, missing the bar and turning in a score of 8.475. So a disappointing start for the leader after day one. Let's get you over to the vault and introduce 15-year-old Tia Orlando, a powerful young gymnast who will begin here on the vault. Orlando comes into this final day of competition in 7th place.
You know, Donna Strauss was saying after the first day of competition, she was ecstatic over how she performed. That the goal here is 2 days in a row. She needs to prove to them that she can handle this twice.
She's going to do a big ball, double twisting, laid out Yurchenko. Whoa, little bit low on that landing, had to pipe down.
Yeah, she certainly didn't get any height off the horse.
Yeah.
Not going to do a lot of damage, but it's not going to bring in the potential 9.4, 9.5 that it could have.
Yeah. Thanks.
Much tighter. Tighter up. Just the one step back.
Well, probably the biggest surprise after the first day is the performance turned in by Holly Weiss, just 15 years old, competing in her very first senior national year here, and you know, in 3rd place, is certainly in the hunt for the championship.
I asked her coach, Yevgeny, how big it would be for Holly to earn an automatic berth, place in the top 3 to qualify for that world team, and all he could say was wow. He said wow about 4 times in a row.
But you know what, Timmy, he's been a little bit nervous over there. He actually had Holly stay on bars right up until the very last minute, actually before mounting the bars. He just seemed a little bit on edge.
This is where she shines, though. Tremendous shoulder flexibility allows her to do all of these elements right off the top here.
And all with perfect form and just a beautiful toe
And
point.
watch that right there, that full spin right into a Jaeger.
This is her specialty. She can certainly bring in a huge score.
So tight, lands directly in that handstand and is like a pencil. It's gonna be a big number.
Good job. Good girl.
She won this event last year at the juniors. She also won the beam competition.
And those are her two specialties.
Has to be reassuring to begin things off with an event you feel so familiar and confident with.
Tremendous shoulder flexibility to do these inverted giants, but this is beautiful right here. She does it, pushes up on that one arm, spins around right into a release move.
It's just a great combination. Lots of bonus points.
Holly Weiss turns in a solid score to begin her quest, a 9.5 on the uneven bars for her specialties.
With that fall from Anya Hatch, that moves Holly, at least until Ashley Postel goes into the lead.
And as you take a look at Taryn Humphrey getting ready for the vault, 16-year-old from Blue Spring, Missouri. Lives on a small farm there. Her family raises cattle, and she has hit the big time in the sport of gymnastics. Humphrey comes in the 5th spot.
Taryn made her move into seniors last year, where she finished 7th in the all-around. She's been known as a consistent competitor, someone who's just known as an all-around athlete who could really contribute on any apparatus.
And her coach, Al Fong, said, no question, she can do a much better job tonight on vaulting. He wants to see improvement, a little bit better bounce off that horse and a better landing.
Pretty solid start for Humphrey. You hear all the stories about, sacrifices made. They live in this small town on the farm. Her dad works in a bank during the week, builds houses and reconstruction at nights and weekends just to be able to pay for Humphrey's gymnastics schooling. And it's a good start for her. Well, we've already seen one world champion. When we come back, we'll see another one. Ashley Postel on the floor. She comes into the second day in the 2nd position in the hunt for the national championship. Welcome back to the Gillette Venus U.S. Gymnastics Championships. You can log on to NBCSports.com for more on this U.S. Gymnastics Championships, including the latest news and features on the top performances. It's all at NBCSports.com. Holly Weiss, off of her first performance of this second day, could be the leader. We still have Ashley Postel to go in this first rotation, first of 4 rotations. A disappointing start for Anya Hatch, who turned in the 8.475 in the fall on the bars. So she and her husband have some work to do if they're going to stay in contention. As we swing it over to the uneven bars, the local favorite here, who will turn 15 years old tomorrow. Still 14-year-old Chelsea Memel from West Allis, Wisconsin. And there have been dozens of supporters in the stands, family and friends here to cheer her on in her very first national championship at the big senior level. She's performed great. She comes into the second day in the 11th spot.
Great. She's been so calm. It's hard to believe that this is her first senior nationals. I can't believe it. She's got an amazing variety of skills, not to mention really difficult stuff.
I thought she was too strictly evaluated the first day. Look, that was amazing. Talk about being...
That'll take your voice away.
on your fingertips.
Her coach, Jim Chuck, thought she held back a little bit, but she didn't hold back at all in that skill.
A beautiful handstand at the end of that Stalter full turn. This is the highlight of the routine, though. Very difficult, very unique. Jam, double front.
You did it, honey. Very nice job.
She has been on the receiving end of the loudest ovations here for these championships, and Chelsea Memel off to a rousing start.
And it just hasn't rattled her at all. she in fact said after the first day of competition, it just, you know, it was fun. It was fun.
We're going to get Memmel's score in just a moment, but we go over to Ashley Postel, the reigning world champion in the beam. And like Coupette's, Postel pretty much came out of nowhere to win that world title last year. Boy, she put her name on the gymnastics map in a hurry, though, and she comes in the second spot, trailed only Anya Hatch. And with Hatch's problems, is poised to perhaps take over the lead.
And of course, that medal was won on the balance beam. Her coach, Tatiana Perovskaya, said that she was amazed that when she was in Hungary, just how hungry she was actually for that medal.
No pun intended.
No.
Postel just turned 17, and along with Coupette's, part of that deep talent pool that the Americans boast now. By the way, Chelsea Memmel turned in a 9.325 on the bars, but Postel was solid to start.
You know, she has such a presence out there on the floor exercise, a beautiful dancer, not to mention some really difficult tumbling, and she came into these championships with 2 new tumbling passes. This was her first.
Just to do that Arabian double front is considered very difficult, but to do a whip back, a salto before it makes it much more difficult.
Postel needs better than a 9.4 to take over the first spot. And you can hear her wondering if she stepped out of bounds. She came very close, but
I didn't
it did
see a
not
flag.
appear that we saw a flag as you look at Memmel's 9.325. Good start for the local favorite on the bars. So we will have Postel's score for you, as well as the standings after the first of 4 rotations as the U.S. Gymnastics Championships move on. Hatch is going to drop. She was the leader after day 1. We'll stack it up for you when we come back. Well, you are looking at the new leader in these U.S. Gymnastics Championships. 15-year-old Holly Weiss says there has been a shakeup in the standings after the first rotation. Weiss moves from 3rd to 1st. Postel and Coupette still in 2nd and 3rd. Schweikert moves up to 5th. But Anya Hatch, who had the lead coming into the second day of competition, Alfie, has now fallen to 6th. Based on the gymnastics and the routines that she has left, can she get herself back up to that top spot?
Well, I think she certainly can, because remember, she started on an event that is not a great event for Anya. She still has floor in her power events on vault. Beam was very consistent the other day in the competition, so she could move up a little bit.
Schweikert looking to win this championship for the 3rd straight time, Tim. Moved up a little bit, but she's really had to dig herself out of a hole, especially after that first event where she fell off the bars earlier.
Well, you know, it's not over for Tasha. She's only a little bit more than 4/10 out of the lead. She's going to need a little bit of help from either Coupette's, I would say, or Ashley Postel. But it could happen. She's got some strong events coming up, and she's one of the most determined competitors that I've ever seen in the sport.
So here is Hatch after the disappointing start. She tries to begin her own comeback here from dropping into the 6th position, now on the nerve-wracking beam.
And she had a very strong beam routine the first night, but you combine beam with a struggle like she just had on bars, and she is going to need to call on all of those reserves. Her husband, Alan Hatch, told me that her best quality, power, artistry, but above all, it's her age. He thinks it's an asset, and I'm sure he hopes that she's going to use that asset right here on balance beam.
And I think Anya's putting a little extra pressure on herself because, as I said, everyone thinks that she's the specialist that could help the United States on just vaulting, just floor exercise, and she's really out to prove everyone wrong. She wants them to see her as an all-around athlete.
Don't forget, though, these championships are more than one thing on the line here. She wants to win the national championships. I would say that might be a little bit of a stretch at this point. It's possible, but it's a long shot. She, more than that, though, wants to be in the top 3, lock in a position, and be a world team member, because she's got an event, vaulting, where she probably at this point in time is certainly one of the top 3 vaulters in the world, if not the best in the world. She gets on that list for Anaheim and the World Championship. She's almost a guaranteed medalist.
Well, one thing that is certainly impressive is that she has much more difficult skills now than she did as a teenager when she competed back for Cuba.
Her success in Cuba, she says, got her a 2-bedroom apartment from the government. She said it was small, but it was good for Cuba, and a fall again.
And that's it.
Wow.
That's one of the skills that she added to her routine.
You take the risk. That's exactly what she did. Now it's all about just trying to somehow find that composure, get it back. Don't let it spiral out of control.
Boy, this is where you're tested mentally. You come into this 2nd day of competition, the spotlight's on you, have a poor first round, and then fall again.
And these athletes know that Marta Crowley's watching. She's not just interested in the results from the competition. She's looking at the overall picture, how they've completed their year, results, consistency, and that's really key for her. That hurts. It's okay.
Okay, it's okay.
On home, the score for Phil's gymnast Starry Night Hunter, 8.82.
You know, his husband, you don't know whether to give her a hug or give her coaching advice. I mean, what role do you play here?
Yeah,
maybe a little bit of both.
Yeah, well, you really can't do anything. That's because nothing that he can say is going to make her feel any better at this point. And that fall, that does it, though. She will not be the national champion, and I would say her shot at even being in the top 3, very, very slim at this point.
Again, a very difficult skill. We're seeing a lot of the youngsters compete this skill. Full twisting back tuck. That's not easy.
Just
totally offline.
Misses that right foot, it slides off, and no way she can hold on.
So she fell from the 1st spot to the 6th spot, and then her husband watches her fall again, and she's going to drop even further down the standings. It has not gone according to plan, but still with a smile on her face. Holly Weiss, the new leader. And I got to ask you guys, does she know what position she's in at this point? I mean, is there a way of knowing that? Do you want to know that at age 15?
Well, I can't say that she would want to know. I think she's focused on her routines, and I think that's something that her coach, Evgeny, certainly knows, but he's not going to tell her.
I bet she knows.
No.
You know, the announcers, they're talking in the arena, and She's a perceptive kid. They all want to win. It's nice to hear your name on top.
Next up on the bars is Tia Orlando, who stayed in that 7th spot after the opening rotation.
Probably had the routine of her life the other day in competition on this event. Not a strength of hers, but she certainly performed. Her coach, Donna Strauss, was just a little bit concerned about how she would react to the no warm-up rule, just getting up and going for that routine.
Different dismount right from the handstand. She'll do a snap down, backflip.
Some nice skills, just form errors here and there, and that's really where the judges are going to be able to take some points.
So the beam score for Hatch with the fall, a 9.025. So coming up next, we'll see how Holly Weiss, the new leader at just 15 years old, handles the pressure of the top spot as the quest for the U.S. Gymnastics Championships continue.
Welcome back to the Gillette Venus U.S. Gymnastics Championships.
Back here in downtown Milwaukee, the U.S. Gymnastics Championships continue. And next up for Holly Weiss on the beam as the new leader. And another one of those events that she feels very comfortable with.
Oh yeah, this is her specialty. You know, she scored a 9.725 in the first day of competition. She has such an amazing repertoire of skills on this event. She'll show off such great qualities like flexibility, dance.
I asked her how she stays calm and makes it look like she's on a floor exercise mat. And she said, over and over, all I'm saying throughout the routine, just me and the beam, just me and the beam.
First big test right here.
The same skill we saw Anya Hatch fall on just a few moments ago. She handles it perfectly. Oh.
She saved it though.
Yeah, that was amazing. It looked like she was gone.
Watch this leap coming up here. She'll actually lose sight of the beam. This is where she takes risk. This is what I love. Just a great athlete who feels confident enough to do skills like that. You know, Marta Caroli said that this is the area that she felt the U.S. was lacking, was on the balance beam. She wanted to make sure that come Anaheim in the World Championships that she had some strong athletes representing them on balance beam.
Boy, the Carolis keeping a close watch on all of these U.S. gymnasts. They come to the camp in Texas a number of times, compete in pressurized situations there under the watchful eye. So when they get here, they can perform like that. Holly Weiss, in her first event as the leader, comes up with another solid one.
I tell you, it doesn't matter how great you are on beam.
Don't try to just say things. You go coping scale straight. Just squeeze the beam and do work forward.
That is Holly times 2 right there. You notice the
large
mural
image of her
right there. That is Holly Weiss. She saw that last year, and they were so excited about it. They asked the artists if they could get another one. It's hanging in their gym now. This is the area where Holly had an amazing correction. She just was totally off balance on the Inodi, but somehow is able to hang on.
Next up is Taryn Humphrey, who moved up a spot with that 9.3 on the vault. Humphrey now in the 4th position after the first rotation. So with Hatch falling further away, I mean, who knows if Humphrey can slip in there.
Absolutely. This is an event that she's very good on. She has a planned bar routine that has a start value around 9.8. And again, we talked about her being a consistent competitor and someone that could fill in a spot anywhere.
Her coach said they prepared for this no warm-up scenario by going into the gym, just stretching out a little bit, rolling the wrists around and doing cold sets. And she is, this is great.
Hitting hold. She said she prepared for these championships by treating each routine like it was competition. That's what she needed to do. She's having a good day so far.
The score has just come in for Holly Weiss's beam routine, a 9.7. So maybe she's going to solidify that top spot. Again, still to come is Postel and Kupets, who can challenge her. And there is Postel, who is warming up for her vault in just a few moments. And there is Kupets in the third spot. So a couple of young gymnasts with world titles, Postel and Kupets, trying to catch the young 15-year-old. Getting ready for the vault is Ashley Postel. She needs better than a 9.825 to pass Weiss. By the way, Humphrey's score was a 9.3.
You know, on day one, she tried a very difficult vault, and after falling on that event, Tatiana Perovskaya, her coach, blamed herself. She said, I asked her to do too much. She came into these championships with a lot of new things, and I should have backed off on the vault.
She will do a different vault for her first vault today. The vault she fell on, a double twisting Yurchenko. She will do a half on front flip with a half on.
Again, Postel in the second position. Needs that 9.825 to surpass Weiss.
It's a great ball.
Yeah, and it's one that she's extremely comfortable with as well.
It's actually a highly technical vault, and she does it technically as well as anybody I've seen. The gymnast typically wants to get that half turn done from the board to the horse. They drop their shoulder a little bit, gets them a little bit crooked, so when they contact the vaulting surface, they don't get the block that she does. Nice body position in the air, and she even gets to open her body. That's what the judges are looking for.
And here's the block that Tim was referring to right here. What's interesting is Ashley didn't even get her left hand on the horse. She just brushed it, but it really didn't matter because she still did an amazing vault. The start value of that vault, however, only a 9.7.
We'll have the score for Postel in just a moment, but that means that Holly Weiss is going to remain in the lead as these U.S. Gymnastics Championships continue from Milwaukee. Welcome back. Ashley Postel has had a lock on that second position, and that's where she's going to stay. Her vault score 9.375, so she stays behind Holly Weiss. And right now, getting ready to go on the vault, Courtney Kupets, and she has been right behind Postel in that third spot.
And she also will be doing an easier vault. In day one, she twisted a little bit early. Didn't get the rotation she needed, had to put her hands down. Ellie said, we're taking it out. Good decision. Gonna lose a little bit in start value, but doesn't have that mistake.
That's right to the point by Kelly Hill, right?
It's always better to land on your feet.
And it's always better to be better than yesterday.
You know, I asked Marta Karolyi about the first day of competition and what her concerns might have been, and she said the fact that two of the world champions had fallen on vault. That was one of her concerns because this is an event where the U.S. needs to work a little bit.
So Courtney
Should I just get my grips on after I get over there?
will await her score and see if she's able to move up, perhaps past Postel.
Because if I start off,
Well, you can tell from that World Championship experience how confident Postel and Kupets have been. I mean, they haven't had much go wrong, and they've been just kind of hovering in that second and third spot all championships long.
And really easy to talk to. I've been amazed. Nothing really has fazed them. They're basically saying, we're just coming in, doing our routines, and that's that. It's not a big deal.
Tasha Schweikert, who you see there, really got into a big hole because of her routine on the uneven bars in the opening day of competition, and it's really that hole she's been trying to dig herself out of. She's coming up on the uneven bars, but this was the bobble on the first day.
A nothing move. She said it herself. I can't believe it. I've never done this in practice before. It really was just unfortunate.
And had it not been for that mistake, she would have been up in that top 3 area and been in a lot better shape, although she's moved up another notch in 5th place and trying to move up here.
Yeah, she can keep that move on as well.
There's the leader, Weiss, who appears in great shape to hang on to that lead after 2 rotations.
Tasha in day 1, though, had done maybe the best routine I've ever seen her do on bars. Huge releases, extended body. What happens is you get all the hard stuff done and you take a little bit of a mental breather. Cassie Reicher, her coach, said that she just relaxed in her, and that caused her to fall the wrong way. And
Bars at all? Just feel them or?
Just stay by her side right up until the last moment. You know, she always constantly gives her little tidbits, and I remembered in day 1, she said, just will it.
Her hands will get warmed up on the first kip.
a lot of the coaches don't like this. It is a change that the FIG made for the World Championships in the team finals and in the event finals. There will be no one-touch warm-up. And so USA Gymnastics decided to go with that format on the second day of the national championships. And most of the coaches, they're very uncomfortable with it.
Good kip, press down, see it, will it. Don't let something happen you don't want to. Push down and make it happen right way.
Well, we'll see if she can forget about what happened on the first day in the uneven bars and continue her climb up the standings. Comes from an athletic family. Her mom played doubles at Wimbledon with her twin sister. And they live in the Las Vegas area, and her mom has known Andre Agassi for years and years and years.
You got this. You got it.
Here is where the problem was night one. Absolutely nothing tonight.
Well, she is being extremely aggressive. You can hear Cassie talking her through this routine.
What a difference a day makes indeed for Tasha Schweikert.
That feels good, I'm sure.
Woo, that's it. There it is.
Well, the body
that was
English,
for you, Tim, I'm sure.
Body English yesterday was just, you know, disappointment, frustration. Now she's blowing kisses.
Yeah, totally different attitude.
Well, she's a champion, a two-time champion. And Tim, you said it at the top that you thought she'd be back.
Don't count her out.
Yeah, she just had to let it go. She had to do what she knew she is capable of doing. As Tim said, perfect body position, not an issue today. I really enjoy her on this event. She flies, she's just aggressive, and it's an exciting routine to watch.
She works the bars, generates a tremendous amount of power every time she comes to the bottom, accelerates. Beautiful dismount, double laid out somersault. Gets one more time over the top for a little more speed.
And this was the best part right here. You could just see the relief. Oh, this just feels so great.
And her coach, yes, we hit it today.
Isn't that great?
They've kind of had a tenuous relationship that you documented earlier in the first day of competition. She didn't think that Tasha was working hard enough and said, you want to come to the gym? Better work hard if you're going to come to the gym. And she said Tasha turned it around, and look what we've seen here on the second day. We're going to have Schweikert's score when we come back, and also the standings after the first 2 rotations. We'll see if the 2-time defending national champion can move up in the standings as we continue from Milwaukee. Back in a moment. Welcome back. A look at the standings after the first 2 rotations. Tasha Schweikert with that 9.575 in the bars moves into the 3rd position. Holly Weiss continues to lead. And Postel and Kupets still continue to threaten from right behind. Now, Anya Hatch, who's getting ready to go on the floor, is in the 8th position. Remember, it was just a couple of rotations ago that she occupied the top spot.
Well, and she can redeem herself here. She certainly can move up in the standings. This is an excellent exercise, and it's what Anya is known for, her power on floor exercise. It's one of the areas she's hoping to contribute to the United States.
And it's not just here. It's this event and her final event on vault, where she is so strong. So she's got her 2 weaker events, if you could say that, out of the way.
And the disappointment she's been through, it sure would be nice to see her finish solid. Well, now she seems to be back on track.
Well, and you can see that this is what she's most comfortable on. It was a great smile, great tumbling. Super powerful tumbling, I might add. This is what Anya is known for.
Very intricate combination tumbling, 2.5 twists. Feet hit the floor and rebounds into a front somersault with a full twist of its own.
Well, we'll see if the score, and along with her final score on the vault, will be good enough to move her up perhaps into that top 3. You never know, depending on what the rest of the competitors above her do. And again, she had the lead and began the 3rd rotation in the 8th spot. And there is the leader, Holly Weiss, awaiting her floor exercise. It's been overshadowed to this point by her teammate Carly Patterson, who is not competing in these championships, out with a fractured elbow. But it has been Holly Weiss who has stolen the spotlight. Let's see if she can hang on to it. By the way, Hatch turned in a 9.425 on her floor exercise, and Hatch has the vault remaining to complete her competition.
Tim talked about her great choreography. You know, she's got a super music selection. It's just perfect for her style, and she'll accentuate that great flexibility throughout this exercise. So keep your eye on that, and also the great eye contact that she makes with the judges in the audience.
Very close to going out of bounds there.
There was no flag. You know, Dan, that was a great exercise, but I'm a little bit concerned about her second tumbling pass, her triple twist. I think it's questionable as to whether Holly completed the 3 revolutions.
Yeah, I would say that she didn't.
That girl, very respectful.
Triple full was bad.
Good job. Triple full, first pass was excellent. Oh yeah, good focus. Thank you.
Evgeny's thrilled with the first pass. He said it's excellent. This is the combination.
And she was dangerously close to going out of bounds.
I have to agree. I think she actually did go out of bounds, but let's take a look here. It only takes a small portion of the foot. You know what? It was out.
Here is the pass that Elfie was talking about. She needs to twist 3 times around. When her feet hit,
no.
Is her entire body around? And the answer to that is no.
So we will await that score. But Holly Weiss has 1 event left. She's through 3 of the 4 rotations and has the lead for the moment in the U.S. Gymnastics Championships from Milwaukee. Back with more in a moment. Next up in this U.S. Gymnastics Championships is Taryn Humphrey, who after the second rotation moved into a tie for 4th with Courtney Coupette. So Humphrey is right there. And we've just received the score for Holly Weiss in the floor exercise, a 9.1. So that top spot is there for the taking for the gymnasts who trail her at the moment.
Taryn very, very good on this event. She scored a 9.575 in the first day of competition. Again, this is an athlete that can fill in on any apparatus that the U.S. asks her to. She's hoping that this will be one of the events. Taryn has intricate skills. You've got to take a look at this mount. Very difficult triple turn in a wolf position. Gives her a lot of bonus points coming up right here.
Like a helicopter.
Yeah, I think she's going to take off.
Oh, she put her hand down. It was perfect on the first day.
9.1.
Another big skill, a standing Arabian.
Exercise for World Olympic, Nina Tim.
That's a shame.
I was just about to say that she hasn't been perfect in this competition, but the thing she's been able to do is find a way to not have the big break. Your feet touch that mat and it's 0.5 of a point.
And with that championship on the line, I mean, day 2 is a lot different from the first day, especially when you move into that 4th place territory like Humphrey did.
It's really too bad because what I like so much about this athlete is she has the variety of skills and it's exciting. It's always refreshing to see something different, something new to present to the judges.
disappointment for Humphrey there in rotation number 3, and an opportunity for Ashley Postel, who sits in the 2nd spot right now. Postel needs better than a 9.55 for first place to pass Weiss as she gets ready for this uneven bars.
That might be tricky for her. She scored a 9.4 in the first day, so it's going to take her best, absolutely best routine.
Yeah, I would say that throughout these championships, uneven bars have been the lowest scoring event, but she is a great competitor and has a lot of high-flying skills on bars. It's not impossible.
So Weiss's grip has loosened a little bit. Sooner or later, you knew he had to get to that.
It was coming. I could feel it.
So Postel, among those that wants to seize the moment here.
Now on uneven bars for Capital National Training Center.
Had been so frustrated with her former bar routine, and
she changed it for you, Tim.
Yeah, she told us that she made it easier, and now it's worth more, and she hits it more. So that's the way to go.
She has a nice swing on this apparatus. Beautiful skill right there.
It's all about handstands. You want the big score. Everything needs to top out right in the handstand, just like that. Release skill here. That is a gigantic mistake. She was supposed to have enough momentum to go over the bar, and she's done it again.
So we are seeing some breaks, we're seeing some falls, we're seeing some bobbles we haven't seen.
And you know, you wonder how much of it has to do with the no warm-up rule. Again, Marta Crowley said they're practicing this at the training camp. She wants to prepare these athletes for this time at the World Championships. They have to get used to doing it now.
It was so close, the skill. She was doing a giant to a 1.5 pirouette, and she needed enough momentum to pass through the handstand. Didn't have enough, fell short. But that routine has not one but 2 major errors in it.
Well, everybody has been faltering, so we'll see, how this all shakes out. Weiss, who at one point probably thought she wasn't going to hang on to the lead, might end up hanging on to it.
Right here. Not enough speed to get over the top, like I said. And that was the 2nd time she had tried to go over.
So we will await the score on Postel. It's going to be low. We'll get that in a moment. Well, Chelsea Memel has moved up into the 6th spot. The local favorite wowed him on the beam. And right now she's getting ready to take to the floor. And here's another thunderous ovation as she gets set.
Had trouble in day 1 on her 3rd tumbling pass, this time on the 2nd.
Almost looked like she missed one of her knees and couldn't grab it and speed up the rotation like she typically does. Gosh.
It's not a question of Chelsea being able to really do these skills. Remember, she's coming back from a severe bone bruise in the ankle, hasn't had the training time. Said that her ankle felt a little sore this morning.
Her coach said, Jim Chuddy said that his biggest concern was that the lack of repetitions, the numbers just weren't there to feel confident about the power events.
It's just Tony wasn't there. He wasn't ready.
So that has been the theme with everybody falling, wobbling here in these championships. Perhaps Tasha Schweikert will have an opportunity to win 3 in a row. She's in the 3rd spot, and we'll see her on the beam as we continue from Milwaukee in just a moment.
Looking at the beam. Very nice.
Back at these U.S. Gymnastics Championships where things have changed a lot in a hurry. Courtney Kupets, the world champion in this event, which she is taken to next, the bars, has a chance to take over the 1st spot. She needs better than a 9.775. And based on her performance as the world champion, she's certainly capable of doing that.
Absolutely, certainly attainable. She has the skills, she has the form, she has the title. She could do it.
So Kupets very much a part of this race for the championship, as is Schweikert, who we'll see in just a moment or two on the beam. So things have really changed in the last few moments.
They have, and it's not just about this event. Holly Weiss, who is leading the way, goes into her weakest event, didn't even score a 9 the first day of competition. I would say that if Kupets and Schweikert hit this next 2 events, that one of them will win this all-around title.
Wow, didn't know she was going to hang on.
That was close.
She did hang on, and she stuck the landing. Kupets. I think Kelly Hill's talking about that near miss, hang on by the fingernails.
She absolutely flew, took it as far as she possibly could, and it probably was just fingertip control.
Here is that release right here.
Look at that, wow.
And just barely gets those around the bars. We know she can swing bars, though. The one thing that she does struggle a little bit on is the dismount and the landing. This is the first perfectly stuck landing I've seen from her this entire week. She chose the right time.
When you're the world champion, you get a little bit more respect from the judges, so we'll see what Kupets' bar routine scores and see if it puts her in that hunt for the championship. Certainly seems like it will, but again, she's got another event left. And it does not seem like too long ago, and well, no one wrote off Tasha Schweikert. You talked about how tough a competitor she is, but she began the 2nd day in the 6th position and has steadily moved up. Right now, she's in the 3rd spot with a big beam routine upcoming here.
Yeah, and you know what? I would say that she's going to hit this one because in practice prior to this competition, that was one of the events she was focusing on. I think I saw her do 8 to 10 beam routines back to back, probably 30 seconds rest in between each one. She was determined.
Holly Weiss, again, is the leader, but it was Weiss and Postel, Humphrey, who kind of let the door open for the rest to walk in, and now Kupets and Schweikert are positioned to perhaps overtake her. We'll see what happens. So the score for Kupets, a 9.5. Weiss remains the leader, but Kupets is in position for a shot at this national championship, and so is Schweikert. She is next on the beam.
Nice stare down that balance beam.
Hey, the game phase has intensified, hasn't
All
it?
taking off straight, nice and confident.
Cassie Rice talking her through.
And you got to be a good acting presentation.
That's what Cassie was discussing with me before the meet. Said sometimes Tasha wears her emotions on her face a little bit too much, even if she has a small bobble. Don't telegraph that to the judges.
She needs, Tim, better than a 9.65 to take over the lead from Vice. Is that doable here?
No, that's not doable here, but that's not really the issue.
Right, she's got another event to go, right?
And she's got a big one, and it's floor exercise. Tasha Schweikert is all about the performance, and she's going to get to do that, rock the house. She is right in this game. It can happen.
But again, it'll be interesting to see how the ankle holds up. I mean, that has been the real sore spot for her, and on that floor exercise, it comes into play more than any other event.
I asked her if it was if she felt she was coming back a little bit too soon, and you know, she was bored at home, bored with just training. And like Tim said, she's about the performance. She loves to be in this environment, in the arena. She wants to compete.
There is that ankle, that left ankle, what she had surgery on in December. The pain came back a short time ago, and she stopped practicing altogether a few weeks ago and finally cranked it up again in search of this championship just a few weeks ago. Here she is, still with a chance.
Now on floor exercise for World Olympic, Caitlin White.
Very solid.
You can see her checking her every move, totally focused on each element. And that's what Cassie was saying, just take it one at a time. You know, it certainly doesn't appear that Tasha has as difficult skills as some of the other athletes we've seen, but she's getting some points in some of these more difficult jumps, which she does quite a number of in this routine. Just the dismount.
Stays on the end a little bit long.
She's a competitor.
But she is exactly where she wants to be.
Good job. That shorter kicked a little to the side and you still stayed on it. Good. It was good. It was a nice save.
We're watching from the end. That's too frightening.
Yeah. All right. Takeoff on the front was good, but the landing, you tucked it, finished it forward a little bit. Good job.
One of the near flawless acrobatic skills done in combination, this layout step out. That has the look of a three-time national champion, doesn't it, Elle?
Absolutely, and take a look at this dismount. I mean, she was not going to give in, not at this point with just one move remaining. That's the dismount. You'd never know she had a problem with that ankle, just a very slight hop.
We began the night saying what an amazing story it would be if Anya Hatch could win. But I'll tell you what, it would be almost just as amazing if Tasha Schweikert can somehow pull this out and win 3 straight titles, especially after the start yesterday. Holly Weiss is the leader. We'll run down the entire standings after 3 rotations. Get you Schweikert's score on the last event when we come back to the U.S. Gymnastics Championships. An ever-changing standings. Schweikert after the national championship for the 3rd year in a row. 15-year-old Holly Weiss getting ready for the vault. Has the lead with the last rotation coming up. Kupets is in 2nd, Schweikert is in 3rd, so the national championship is up for grabs. It looks like at this point, though, Tim and Elfie, that Weiss, Kupets, and Schweikert have pretty much assured themselves a spot to the World Championship team.
I would say so, yeah. It's about as big of a lock as you can have in an athletic meet.
I think we're going to give you a high score, Tim,
Throat
for coming through these championships with barely a voice. As Weiss readies herself for the biggest moment of her young career so far, national championship on the line.
And as Tim mentioned earlier, this is not a strength for Holly. She has a vault that has a start value of a maximum of 9.7.
And she did it pretty well for herself the first day of competition and only came up with an 8.975. Both Tasha and Courtney have much stronger last events. She's going to need to be perfect.
Is it going to be good enough? It looks doubtful at this point, but you never know.
I mean, the goal for Holly coming in was to be one of those top 3, and she has just done that right there.
You're supposed to do.
You can see the sense of relief, knowing probably that, Tim, that she's on the world team.
And I just heard Evgeny said, you did all that you could possibly do, and you know, she really did. She rose to the occasion. As we said, not the most difficult vault. She did it as well as she could. Perhaps could have stuck the landing, but hey, she'll take the step.
And she's carried that lead ever since the first rotation tonight. We'll see if it can hold up for Holly Weiss.
Thank you.
Taryn Humphrey getting ready for her final event. The floor will not win this championship. Still has an outside chance of perhaps getting into the top 3, but she would need a lot of help from Schweikert and Kupets. The score for Holly Weiss was a 9.15, a good score, but the question is, will it hold up? There is Kupets getting ready for her final event, which will be the beam upcoming. But first, it's Humphrey on the floor. And these are second national championships. She seems a lot more comfortable this go around and is in better position.
Coach Alfong calls her high maintenance. He says the reason why he says that is there's a lot of fine tuning that he has to do with Taryn. He has to constantly be on her, get the most out of her gymnastics.
Taryn Humphrey's championship's complete, and she will improve on her 7th place finish from last year.
Nice Arabian.
There's Schweikert. Got that look of determination again.
Right.
They both have the opportunity and the potential to move into first. They're going to have to be awesome routines, but both have the capabilities. They have the start value, and this lady right here loves this stage as much as any athlete I have ever known. Don't count her out.
So Weiss continues to watch. And Ashley Postel, for a long period of time in these championships, had positioned herself for a crack at the title, but she's fallen into the 5th spot as she winds up her championships here on the beam. And you can see a lot of that energy that we saw earlier has just been drained out of her face. She knows it's not possible anymore.
Yeah, so disappointed, and not an easy event to end on, but this should be a very easy exercise for Ashley, for obvious reasons, world champion.
Taryn Humphrey, by the way, turned in the 9.125 to end her championships on the floor.
Capital National Training Center's Ashley Postel.
What's so nice about this exercise is it's so fluid. She's a beautiful dancer, and she has an extremely difficult dismount.
On floor exercise, the score for Great American's Taryn Humphrey, 9.125. Now on floor exercise for Excalibur, Marcia Kubi.
So you look at this competition in the long run, and all of these talented young gymnasts are only going to push each other and make each other better as we're just a little more than a year out from Athens.
What an exciting time for this team, because the great depth. I mean, as you said, they can only push one another, and how nice to have choices.
Is this the most depth you've seen in this sport in quite some time?
Absolutely.
You agree with the Carolis and the rest of the coaches around the country who feel that this is the best young crop that they've perhaps ever seen, at least the deepest they've ever seen?
It is by far the deepest. And a great exercise. This certainly told us a lot about her character. She wanted it. Nice to see her end strongly.
So that sense of relief on the face of Ashley Postel. Her championship's over. Not in the mix for the title, but Tasha Schweikert is in the mix. We will see her final event, the floor exercise. We'll also see Courtney Kupets on the beam with a national championship on the line. Holly Weiss, still the leader at the moment, could be surpassed by one of those two. Stay with us. With the national championship at stake, Courtney Kupets getting ready for her final event, the beam. She needs better than a 9.425 to surpass Holly Weiss. And remember, Tasha Schweikert still yet to go on the floor.
And you know, she can do this easily. She scored 9.6 on the first day.
And another factor that bodes well for her, Ashley Postel, who just competed on the balance beam, scored a 9.8. So the judges, they're letting the big scores fly, and that does not hurt, I'll tell you.
One thing that must be going through her mind, she said that when she won the medal at the World Championships, what it proved to her is that anything can happen. You just have to stay with it. She didn't expect the medal, but she just stuck with her routine and she won it.
Won a world title that has a chance to win her country's championship here on this nerve-wracking apparatus, but this is what's going to decide it for her.
But, you know, she didn't just do a great job in the first day of competition on beam. She had it positioned in the most difficult place, which was starting off. A lot of athletes don't want to do beam right out of the box, but she dealt with it. And probably, I actually talked to her coach, Kelly Hill, and I said, can she do it better than that? And Kelly was like, well, you know, as a coach, you always want to, she can do it better, but it was a beautiful routine.
First big element right here. Gets right into it. She's aggressive. She looks just a little bit more tentative than she did the other day. I see some little balance checks. Nice combination here.
Couldn't be going much better than it is right now.
Beautiful. Lots of skills. Here's what it comes down to, the dismount. Wow. Oh, big time.
That's got to do it right there.
You think it's going to get her by Vice?
Yeah, that's going to put her. That is going to put her ahead of Vice.
Very good.
Kelly Hill could be moments away from having her third national champion, but Tasha Schweikert will have the final say.
Yeah, and that balance beam routine just made Tasha's three-peat a little bit more difficult.
We're going to wait for Coupetz's score. Remember, she needed better than a 9.425 to pass Vice. Well, the reactions from Elfie and Tim here, we think that she's gotten that job done. Schweikert needs better than a 9.45 to beat Vice, but remember, she might have to beat Coupetz to get the title. Whoa.
And
all the way out.
She is out of bounds.
And that is a 10th.
Plus the deduction she'll incur for taking the big step.
She gave it a good fight.
That was a good meet. That was a really good meet. Good job. Please give it to me. Please give it to me.
Please give it to me. You could hear Schweikert talking to her coach.
Nice job.
We have just received the score for Courtney Coupetz's beam,
Yeah, it's pretty nice.
and it's a 9.65. That's why she's smiling so much. That moved her into that first place over Vice.
And I would say
that just about wrapped it up.
That just about wraps it up with Tasha taking that big step out of bounds.
Yep, we don't have the official score from Schweikert, but it looks like Coupetz will have a national title to go along with that world title. While we await the final numbers for Schweikert, we wind up here with Anya Hatch, who started the night. So much promise for the Cuban-born, 25 years old, trying to become the first in the modern era of this sport to not be an American-born citizen to win it, but she faltered early and ends with her best event, the vault.
And that right there is why she is so valuable to this U.S. team.
Yeah, we're going to do one. Take your time.
Such a tremendous vaulter. Unquestionably one of the greatest in the world right now.
Schweikert, floor exercise 9.45, and that is going to tie her for second with Holly Vice, and Courtney Coupetz, it is now official, is the 2003 national champion. And we'll be right back to wrap things up from the Gillette Venus U.S. Gymnastics Championships. And a look at the final results in these U.S. Gymnastics Championships. Courtney Coupetz is the champion. It was a tie for second between Tasha Schweikert and Holly Vice, and Ashley Postel finished fourth. And the top three headed to the World Championship. So Coupetz, Schweikert, and Vice comprise the top three here. Let's go down to Andrea Joyce with the champion.
A big smile on the champion's face. Courtney, congratulations. You were 8th at this championship last year. Can you put into words what it means to you to win?
Not really. It's just
something that's just like a dream come true, I guess. I mean, it's like championships, man. I mean, I don't know, it's just crazy.
You had told us before this competition that your goal was to make top 3. Does this exceed your expectations?
Definitely. I mean, I just wanted top 3 so I could get to the camp, and everything. But to be first, wow, that's big.
We were talking about how cool you look, but you said you weren't really that cool during the competition.
I would off and on, depended.
You're going to the World Championships now. What's the most important thing as you get ready for that? You've got about 8 weeks to prepare.
Just, go back to the gym because I took some things out at this meet just because of my knee and everything. So put those back in and just get everything more consistent.
And tonight, just breathe a sigh of relief,
yes.
right? Congratulations again.
Thank you.
So while Kupets continues to try and comprehend the moment, Tasha Schweikert can take pride in the fact that she never gave up, began this second day in the 6th spot, moving all the way to that tie for second. She's with Andrea Joyce now.
Tasha, you had a big hole to climb out of. You fought so hard. What was going through your mind in that final rotation on the floor?
Before I walked up the stairs, I just was like, I told Cassie, I want to win this, and I know it's so close, and I mean, it could have been anyone's, could be me, Holly, or Courtney's. I mean, we were all so close together, so, she goes, get up there and will everything, like, she goes, don't let something happen, you make something happen, you don't want to go to the floor saying, I wish I coulda, or woulda, or shoulda, so I went out there and just did my landings better. My middle pass went out of bounds, a little bit over flipped, but it's still pretty decent score, 9.45, and I just can't believe that I climbed from 6 all the way to tie for second. That's awesome.
Taking that into consideration and everything you went through with your knee and the injury all through this season, what did you learn about yourself?
Wow. Well, I mean, like I said a month ago, I kind of was at a gym for a while kind of got kicked out. Wasn't tumbling only about 3 weeks ago, and now, I mean, second nationals, it's really exciting for me, knowing just that I can fight back.
Well, you didn't win the championship, but you did fend off a lot of young up-and-comers. Were you sending a message?
I think not winning, but just climbing all the way from 6th to 2nd really just shows my character and that I'm a fighter.
Okay, congratulations. Good job.
Thank you. Thanks.
Tasha Schweikert waged a memorable fight indeed, as these championships came down to 3 women. And while only one could be national champion, all 3 will head to Anaheim to take on the best from around the world. From Romania to Russia to China. Tune in August 23rd when America's Best Gymnasts play host to the World Championships right here on NBC Sports. So for Tim Daggett, Elfie Schlegel, and Andrea Joyce, I'm Dan Hicks saying so long from Milwaukee, where the national champion is Courtney Kupets.